Hello, all my gorgeous souls. I am Lady Stars on Fire. My real name is Michelle Espinosa. If you've never watched the videos before, this is the weekly healing messages. It is, but I'm trying to figure out where some of my stuff went, for July 22nd through the 27th. Now, we just had the new moon in Cancer, and I did a video about that on Facebook Live, but I had said that I'd come back and I'd do the weekly video. And this is why it's so intense, those energies of that, and of that new moon that just happened in Cancer for the second time around. Now, as we approach the week and we start moving away from that new moon, we're coming into personal identity issues. Very invisible, unconscious, becoming conscious issues, showing ego from within, like our unconscious ideas of ourselves and our views and our characteristics and egotistical parts of ourselves that are showing itself, and where it's pulled away from the soulfulness, but more egotistical. So we're seeing that unconscious or subconscious rise. The invisible is starting to show itself from who and what you are. Because this week very much is kind of like the moon versus Aries. And Aries is a sign, one of the signs, but the way when I say that I really feel is like your subconscious, your moon energy versus the god of war. But this isn't necessarily outwardly. This is where it gets a little twisted. It can be outwardly if you're acting from ego. If you're unconscious to some of your ego showing itself and some of your true depths of soulfulness, then it may be more of that outward pointing, outwardly communication. But this is really of being not at war with yourself, but learning how to overcome the inner wars within yourself. You're definitely getting into introverted issues. You're definitely getting into the inner world or your inner underworld issues, sifting up. Like I said, I kept being told it was like an animal burrowing, like hiding in the mud. This is your shadow coming up and going, this is problems you have with yourself. But it could come out as mirroring if you are not spiritually mature enough to take it in the right direction. You are dealing with, relationships that you have with yourself versus self-motivated energy, action-oriented energy, self-assertive energy, all in your private underworlds of your self-communication. This is why I said, if that self-communication isn't on point and you're not getting to the roots of that, then this may start to look more like it's an outer world moon energy during the week, at war with Aries and at war. But this is overcoming the war within the self, really is what this week is about. And I'm breaking it down by day, and I'm following the moon because of the way I'm being told to point it out. On the 22nd, which is Wednesday, the sun is in Leo. Now, it's not really getting along with any of Aries energy, which is that first house on a universal level. This is your core. This is your shine. This is your ego. This is the character that you are, or that the world sees of you. But it's also passion, action, aggression, because that's the Aries energy. It's also got me first energy because the moon is opposing it. And it is speaking to you about Chiron, Mars, Lilith, and Eris. Inner trouble, toil, strife, because I say that's Medusa, and inner judgment. Lilith on the ego and the soul fire, and are you fueling it in healthy ways, or have you gone overboard and taking it outwardly? Are you seeing yourself in true light if you were the one talking to you? Chiron's the wounded healer, trying to get in deep and bring these energies of healing in and find out what about ourselves we're in denial over. What about ourselves we just won't view, we won't see for the true root of what we are and what healing needs to be made. Mars is that inner warrior trying to help you become the true you, your true fire, your true passion. But like you said, it's not getting along with Moon in Leo. Now in Leo, it can be very melodramatic. It can be very dramatic. It can be very compassionate and very loving, but it can also be just over drama, period. We're talking about it being the 5th house, which is your creativity and what you create up here. Also, the 5th house deals with your creative expression, how you feel about what you think about up here. It is where we create the world as we want it to be. So what are we creating and telling ourselves about ourselves? Where are we holding on to that resentment, trouble, toil, strife, and we're allowing it to still redirect how we create our life? Remember that 5th house of Leo also is where I always come in and I start speaking to you about the king, being the king of the kingdom. And if you don't like the kingdom you've created, it's time to be a better king. So this is really getting into some deep shadow work. But if you're doing the work, it's showing you the healing. It's if you're not, then it's going to be picking at the world around you and trying to be very entitled and fighting for your power. But if you're fighting for your power, that's because there's a part of your power you don't believe in, and you have to go back and find it and reclaim it. Not take it away from the outer world. The outer world never had it. It's your belief that they have it. It is not getting along with that outer world, though. So this is what I'm saying. The outer world is going to be the one that's questioning you. Is going to be what's mirroring you. The outer world is where Capricorn is right now. It's your jobs, your careers, your outer-oriented people, places, and things of energies that consume you, that you are part of. You have Pluto here, trying to pull out the secrets. Jupiter here, trying to, death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, regeneration, trying to force this shift of change to happen. You have Pallas here, which is doing the strategic thinking, and they're trying to protect themselves. You got to remember that outer world is trying to do things what it needs to do for itself because it's the world outside of you. So this is where do you feel like you're being pushed around versus knowing your power and your worth and finding that inner peace within. The 22nd is pretty much speaking to you about that. It's also not getting along with that North Node and that North Star energy, because the North Node and the North Star are together in Gemini right now. That's communication, your inner Jekyll and Hyde about yourself, your deep depths of self. There are things that are always going to happen outside of you that you cannot control. All you can control is yourself, your self-belief, and your self-love. And then choose to make decisions and actions accordingly. Now on the 23rd and the 24th, which is Thursday and Friday, the moon is moving into Virgo. Don't forget now, Regulus is in Virgo. And even though it's moving away, it's moving away from Regulus on Thursday and Friday, Regulus is still now part of Virgo, which is the detail-oriented side of stuff. It's the virgin. It's the lie detector. It's the troubleshooter within us all. It's our health and our diet. It's the I can pick it apart and tell you exactly what's wrong with it and why. Now, Regulus being here is changed it. It's put a heart in it. It's put a heartbeat in that energy. Which is now we're not troubleshooting about logical. We're troubleshooting about what is heart and logical. Good for the soul. And it is having very unpredictable energies with Chiron, Mars, and Uranus. Well, technically all of Aries which is Lilith and Medusa, Eris, Chiron, Aries, and then as it travels into Uranus, especially on the 23rd. So this is talking about your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, feeling powerful within who and what you are, or feeling the possessive energy of needing to control because of the lack of feeling that freedom, that independence, that liberation. It's also questioning that Chiron, that wounded healer within the character of who and what you are, seeing the true depths of who and what that is, bringing that warrior out. This is unpredictable because depending on if you're doing your shadow work, it's bringing healing. It can go either way, but it's a target right now going, like I said, I kept being said, I know it's a horrible, and I hate saying roadkill, but I keep being told, look both ways before you cross the street. Make sure you're seeing everything for the true illumination of what it is before you stumble and fall. And if you stumble and fall, like when you're crossing a street, get your ass up, because the road and its traffic is not going to stop. This is all about doing your illumination of your shadow work. And if you're doing that, then it's bringing healing to you. Otherwise, it's bringing more conflict. It's that law of manifestation. Coming into your liberation, your soulful healing, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Law of attraction also speaks to you about your possessive energy, of what you are able to feel that you are controlling and handling. Money, finances. When you are in good self-esteem, it comes to you easy. But when you're not, then you have to fight for it. And that is part of what this week is about. As it moves into more of the weekend, we start to see that unpredictable energy is also talking to that outer world at the same time. It is definitely having a conversation with everybody, but give me just a second. That outer world of Capricorn and that of Pluto, death, decay, and destruction. For Jupiter, bring out the secrets of the truth about the world around you and yourself in that outer world. Saturn's rules, walls, and boundaries, and are they set right in the first freaking place? Or are there something wrong about the way you're setting them that's not helping you, and that you need to rearrange them so that it's bringing healing to yourself? But this is not about the outer world. It's about your inner world. This is about acknowledging parts of yourself that you need to heal and make peace with, so that whatever happens on that outer world, you're still golden. Neptune and Ceres is also having unpredictable energies, during this Thursday and Friday energy, meaning that has to do with your manifestation and the threefold. What are you sending out? If you are sending out those spears of trouble, toil, and strife, and injustice, and I was hurt, so let's hurt you too. Well, that spear is going to come threefold all the way back to you. This is the manifestation of Neptune right now. It's saying, I can give you anything you want. Make sure you want wisely. As we come into the full weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the moon is in Libra. Now, this is where it starts really getting deeper. You have to understand, Libra is that 7th house of relationships. The relationships with all of your friends, your family, your children, anything you care about, you have a relationship with. I always say you have a relationship with your car. When you have no vehicle, you know about your relationship with the lack of that vehicle. When you have no money, you know all about your relationship with your money. But this is your friends, your family, your environment. Everything that you have a relationship with, but you must also pay attention to your part in this relationship, because Haumea is in Libra, Jura is in Libra, And so is make in Libra. So in honesty, this is the collective consciousness of ourselves within these relationships. And what is our part? And what are we contributing to these relationships of our character? And then is the relationship healthy? It's the collective consciousness of the truth of these relationships, the sacrifice and commitment it takes to truly make relationships work, friendships work, as well as, are you seeing healthy relationships? Because I always say that make is like the lotus flower. And the lotus flower is one of the highest spiritually evolved flowers, but it grows in a swamp. It grows in the most nastiest of places. And then it rises all the way up to where it births. So are you feeling like your relationships are in the swamp? Or are you finally starting to break through and see the bigger picture? Or are you blooming into the true beautiful being that you are, which will give you the beautiful relationships? This conversation with the moon crossing over all of this in Libra, which is taking place on Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday, it's having the most uncomfortable conversations with the 12th house, with the first house, second, third, fourth, and fifth, with Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and Leo. This is that whole, it is that whole inner, introverted, underworld conversation of security or insecurity. And are you tapping into what insecurities are keeping you from feeling secure? Because that's where the healing is taking place. And what actions will you take according to if you are truly doing that shadow work? Because like I said, the conversations are speaking to that 12th house. And how will we manifest? That's Neptune. With Ceres here, threefold, hit beneath the belt, too close to home. Healing of the 12th house of our inner wounds that we don't like to talk about and sometimes don't even acknowledge our true rooted wounds. Then we're coming into Aries again, where you have Chiron, the wounded healer, trying to start a new cycle and bring new healing, trying to strengthen Mars and make him a better warrior by teaching him where Lilith has moved closer to Eris, trouble, toil, strife, and ego, and burning those fires for the wrong reasons. By learning about our own character flaws so that we can strengthen relationships with ourselves and with others. Uranus here, independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Where is it lacking? Not because of the outer world's relationships, but because of your own self-confidence, your own self-love. Where do you need to accept yourself and give yourself that healing? Remember, like I said, this is very powerful energies that are moving us towards the next 6 months, not just a 30-day cycle. We just came off of a second new moon, originally from an eclipse. This is forging the direction. You have that moon energy in Libra, which is talking to Gemini, Jekyll and Hyde, your inner truths of the North Node, your inner deaths, which you need to let go of, that inner communication. Venus, what makes you feel good and what doesn't, why you're still holding on to resentment, and what makes you feel, ooey gooey and soft and chewy. Tapping into your true depths and the communication with yourself so that you can be part of the relationship you desire. Cancer again. The Sirius star is here. It's the higher self. It's starting to communicate with everybody. And it is talking with Vesta and with Mercury. Communication of security and self-security. the roots of who and what you are, coming into your true authenticity and accepting and loving yourself back through your insecurity. And then Leo, finding the courage to be the lion that is inside of every one of us and allowing that creative expression to take fire, take flame, but to take flame from a good point of view of the king who rules his kingdom, because he loves his kingdom and he loves the one he's created versus the one that's roaring because he's in full-on attack. Love yourself. Love you guys. Bye.